Scott Yarjamoto now. Do you have any updates on the recovery of Joe and Jet, and do you have an expectation for when they might be back? Will we see them in Supercross at all?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident that we'll see both of them back in Supercross at some point. Jet's recovery is going incredible. That bone that he broke in his foot, the talus bone, is a really important bone as far as basically that's your main platform for the first thing that the tib and fib touch. So for that to be really healed is important. He's been doing everything possible, as far as hyperbaric chamber and all the tools and tricks that we have with Doc G and with the doctors that he had. So it's been speeding up the recovery process quite a bit, just like it did with his knee. And that's the cool part. He's in there every day trying to get better. And Joe's been doing the same thing. And luckily, Joe's surgery was really well done. We're really happy with that. And I think that he feels so good that I think he'll be back. I wouldn't say that he would be back for the first East Coast. We still don't have a clear answer from his doctors when they think it'll be, but he had some scans done this week, and we should know more pretty soon.
Steve Mathis, Racer X. Great to see you, Lars. You don't do a lot of interviews, so thank you for this. Appreciate it. You mentioned, we had Hunter on the show. You mentioned it. Bike's not where you quite want to be yet. Did you make any progress this week? And I guess, what's the end goal to when Hunter Lawrence is just like, yep, leave it alone?
Yeah, hoping that moment comes soon. I mean, we'll see about this weekend. We did have a really good week. We ended up trying some new things on Tuesday, and if this tells you anything, Steve, we didn't change anything for Wednesday. We just did motos. So we'll see. You never know. Saturday's the real test, and after that, we'll find out. I mean, if at 7:30 we're having conversations in the truck, with trucks parked around so nobody can come in, it didn't go as well as we thought it would.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. Is there any benefit to having only the two riders, that you can concentrate a little bit more deeply on those guys?
Yes and no. I mean, I think we do a pretty good job of giving everyone the time that they need. But in a way, it's kind of, I wouldn't say beneficial. I would say kind of the opposite, because we only have two guys kind of feeling the motorcycle and going through the motions of developing. So yes, we can give them maybe more focus, but I think having the more guys on the track and giving them more feedback and more data is probably more important.
How much of the setup issues that Hunter's having are a knock-on effect from 2025 Supercross? And if he'd raced that whole season, do you think you'd be in a better position now?
I mean, it'd be hard to say that he wouldn't be more comfortable if he rode the whole series last year. We would have had a lot more opportunity to go through some things. Obviously, I mean, last week he had his best Supercross race he's ever had, where he almost won the race against, two of the best guys to ever do it. So obviously, the things that we're fine-tuning, it's not like we're way out in left field. So which was cool. We were able to this week try a couple of key components to try to get him just a little bit happier, get the bike to settle a little bit more coming into the corners, through the rhythms. Basically he wants the bike to be super plush and never bottom. And so that's our main goal, is to try to do that.
Steve Mathis, Racer X again. Lars, Joe Weber asked me to ask this. What's your reaction to the 3 SMX locations that we've got that unveiled a couple weeks ago?
I mean, the one is right in our backyard in Carson. It's right where our race shop is in Torrance, California. So that'll be kind of cool. I think I don't know if that's the exact same place. It used to be the Home Depot Center, but I have good memories there from the X Games days with McGrath and Ben Bostrom and things. Branson, I just remember that from people riding amateurs and saying Branson was cool. So we'll see how that goes. I'm interested to see how it's going to be. I guess we'll just find out.
Any more questions? Yeah, go on. We see the prototype HRC bike in MXGP. When's the timeline when you guys are going to be racing it? How does that fit into your sort of program for the next few years?
That's a good question, because the reason why we race MXGP is because they're allowed to ride prototypes and really test and develop for the future. I don't know when the timeline is for that motorcycle, or if it's even going to stay that way that they have it right now, or if it's going to change. But honestly, for that side of things, I'm just not sure right
Chase has repeatedly said that he's pushed the team in quite a different direction to what Jason did previously, and therefore you're testing a lot of different stuff, a lot more maybe than in years past. So can you just expand on that a little bit?
I mean, every rider brings something different to the table. Some guys need, a certain kind of a feel, and they got to achieve it in a certain way. And Chase is a different rider than what we've had in the past. So yeah, he's done things a little different. Some of the parts have been hard parts, like for example, we've made some modifications to our frame. We put some braces on there. We made some modifications to our swing arm with the idea of getting the chassis feeling right, almost like a bicycle, and then the suspension will come after that. So those are the things that we've worked on. It's a different mindset, but not something we haven't done in the past or anything like that. It's not anything new. It's just something we haven't done in some time.
Scott Yarjamoto now. All the bike changes that we saw in between the first round and the second round, what is your perspective on those for Chase?
Well, I think first of all, I think it's normal. I think that a lot of the changes that I've been coming to Anaheim for a long time now, and this is not the first time we have flipped the bike upside down. We have done a lot of work before Anaheim, and we got to Anaheim and it wasn't quite right. So we went in a different direction. I think San Diego showed it was a positive direction, and I hope that translates into something this weekend, for example.
Steve Mathis, Pony Pod. Dan, Chris Kiefer actually had a really good theory on Chase this week on one of my dumb shows. He's so big and strong, and he pushes through jumps, and he's very powerful on a bike. But he's also very light, where he's got great timing, and he rides light on the motorcycle. In your experience as Cowie manager now, has he been really hard to get set up for those reasons that I just listed? Like, is he pushing you guys more so than any other rider, let's say, just with the way he rides?
I don't think so. I think anybody that's followed Eli along, for example, I mean, he's very aggressive. He's very strong, and I consider Chase very similar to that. He's very strong and pushes the bike hard, as you mentioned, like you said, in the faces of the jumps and everything else. But like Eli, like a lot of the guys, like Jason, they know what they want. And that's the key. And they understand, okay, I need this feeling to be comfortable. And that's the feeling that we're chasing. So we're going to change whatever we got to change to get that feeling.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. How much of a reset was it going from your riders last year to the riders this year?
It was a significant reset. But I don't think that's a negative thing. I think they're just different people. So different people require different things, and it's our job to make them comfortable. And Chase is a different dude than Jason or Jorge was, or anybody we had before that. So, and Garrett, he's taking us in a different direction again. So it's our job to customize the bike for our guys. And that's what we're working towards. And each guy's a little bit different. Like Steve said, Chase is very aggressive, and Garrett's not as aggressive, meaning doesn't push the bike as hard. I don't mean that negatively either.
In the 2010s, I feel like there was a lot of talk about Cowie being very rigid when it came to bike changes and whatnot.
Yep.
That's clearly not been the case in the last couple of years. So do you feel like the program's become more flexible, lenient?
I don't think those rumors are founded, to be perfectly honest. So I don't agree with those at all. I think when RV was here, for example, I mean, we were very flexible. We did what we needed to do to get him comfortable. And I think we're doing that today. So I don't think it's any different.
We don't hear from you a lot, Dan, and not to rehash last year, but let's rehash last year a little bit. You've been on the highest level of road racing programs, and now motocross and supercross for Kawasaki and all of that. And putting aside just you personally, was last year the toughest year of your career, like with a rider and a team and everything else? Like, was it the most challenging year for you ever in the sport?
It was a challenge. I mean, no one wants to go through that. You don't want to see anybody go through that. It wasn't fun. I don't think it was fun for anybody. I don't think it was fun for anybody on either side of things. And but I think that, like you pointed out, we've been doing this a long time, And it's our job to provide the best equipment and the best resources we can, and I believe we did that all the way to the end.
What happened with Garrett last week, and how much time did he get on the bike this week?
Garrett fell down in practice, got a mild concussion, and so of course we went and had him tested, evaluated and everything, and the doctor, he failed his physical, so he wasn't able to participate in San Diego. And then when early in the week, I don't remember what day, forgive me, but early in the week, he was reevaluated by the doctor and got through tech, I'll say, and rode Wednesday, and here we are today.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay.
And it's bright.
All right, Scuba Steve, we know you love doing these.
I love them. These
Steve
are my favorite
Mathis,
things of all time.
From the Pony Pod. Faulkner, a couple things about him. There's talk about him going east. If
Yep.
it wasn't working out, if it was working out, he was going to stay west. So, A, do you have a decision on that yet? It's early, I know. Is there any decision about going east? And B, how far down the list for fill-ins did you have to get to before you asked Phil?
All right, to answer your first question, no, we haven't decided what we're going to do. So that's still up in the air. As far as Phil, it was at the bottom of the list, to answer your question.
Scott Yarger now. How close is Jordan to being back racing?
Currently, Jordan is riding. He's riding outdoors. Tentative plan earliest would be Arlington, which is, 5 weeks from now, possibly. But still just want to make sure that that shoulder's 100% before he starts going and get back into racing.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports. A solid 15, made it straight into A1 with Austin. Can you grade the first two rounds?
I would say the first round was an A. The last round didn't go very well. Obviously, Austin crashed and hurt his side. That's part of the reason why we had press today, just to make sure he was a go. He stayed out here all week with G, just to try to get himself healed up. Overall, I'd say that we've done pretty well. Just still, obviously, we're learning a lot, just like some other manufacturers are. But, yeah, I think he'll do better the more time he obviously has riding the bike.
We know that once Jordan got hurt, you reached out to a lot of fill-in riders. Why was there such an urgency to just put a bike on the track at Anaheim 1?
I don't know if I would say it was a sense of urgency. I think it was more, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about having a 450 on the track, and, we needed to fulfill that. So,
How close was the decision for Austin to race last weekend? And who made that decision?
It was, Austin himself was, for him to race or not race?
For him not to race or not race.
He did go to the hospital to get checked out. So, once he left, that was, he wasn't racing, no.
If Jordan does make it back for Arlington, is it safe to assume that means that Faulkner will drop down to 250 East? Is that the ideal plan?
Not necessarily. It's still up in the air. We've been talking about it, but we're still undecided, honestly.
Anybody else? Any other questions? One more?
If Austin were to stay on a 450, do you have the capacity to run Mickle, Jordan, and Austin outdoors on 450s?
Yes.
Scuba, so we know you guys wanted to get the 450 Triumph out, and it's racing. So where are you at on the bike? How many changes are you making? Obviously, one for two. You haven't raced the second week, but how's your performance of the new bike, and how much have you done to make him happy?
We've done a lot, actually, to the point that we had to back it down a little bit leading into Anaheim, just so that Austin was comfortable on what he was doing. Obviously, with Austin not riding last week, we used Ivan to get a development. Actually, that's what we rode at press today. He seemed pretty happy. It's the same, but it's different from the 250. So we are still learning a lot.
So Jason Thomas, NBC pit reporter, said in a couple of shows this week that there was something during the week between Max and Hayden. I know you love this question, but what happened, or can you get into it? Can you talk about it at all?
I don't think there's really anything to get into at this point. I mean, obviously we sat them down. They know the game plan and know that it's going into round 3. It's still a short series compared to 450, but ultimately is there's a good way to throw away this title, and that's to get into it with those two and get some momentum to other guys that are in this championship.
The 450 guys were supposed to, I think, stay out in California this week, but they ended up flying back after San Diego. What was worked on this week, and what changes? Yeah, how are they feeling now?
I mean, good. I mean, we have this track at home. We're lucky enough at the Goat Farm to have this track at home. So why wouldn't we take advantage of it?
Max just told me in my interview that pre-San Diego, you sat everyone down and told everyone that they're teammates and not to race each other too hard early in the season. So can you just explain what was said in that conversation and therefore how surprised you were with how San Diego played out?
I mean, at the same time, like, yes, I mean, it's ultimately we don't want to be scrapping with ourselves. It's still an individual sport. It's tough. You're going for the same things all the time. But I think the message is clear, and this week we're going to go race hard and try to get maybe nice to have a podium this week. We were close last weekend.